pag sinabi nating mandatory sign, ito yung mga signage na kailangan mo sundin. So, halimbawa, nakakita ka ng ganyan, bilog. Tapos may arrow papunta sa kaliwa. Kahit dediretso ka, kahit kakanan ka, kailangan mo pumaliwa. Ang tawag dyan, mandatory sign. Sundin mo. Kahit yung bahay mo nasa kanan, ang sabi ng traffic sign, pumaliwa ka, kakaliwa ka dapat. Mandatory. Yun yung isang sub-classification ng regulatory sign. Yung isa naman, prohibitive, ito yung may mga harang. Halimbawa, ganyan. Tapos nakakita ka ng letter U. Ang tawag dyan, mandatory. Pero pag nakakita ka ng gano'n, yung may harang na ganyan, ibig sabihin, bawal mag-U-turn. Prohibitive sign yun. Kaya ang sabi naman sa tanong, signs which impose legal restrictions applicable at particular occasion. Legal restriction. Both mandatory and prohibitive has its legal restriction. So, ibig sabihin, ang tinutukoy natin dito ay yung regulatory sign. Okay? Next. As to the exception to speed limit, the rates of speed prescribed shall not apply to the following except. Again, as to the exception to speed limit, the rates of speed shall prescribe us. The rate of speed prescribed shall not apply to the following. Ibig sabihin, ang mga sumusunod ay hindi nag-a-apply ang speed limit. Maliban daw sa isa. So, yung tatlo dito, nag-a-apply yung exemption sa speed limit. Kahit sumobra sila sa tulin, walang problema. Pero, yung hinahanap nating tamang sagot ay yung hindi kasama dyan sa exemption. Unang sagot. May sumasagot ng letter C. A law enforcement officer who is trying to overtake a violator of traffic laws, kasama yun. Kasama yan. May exemption yan, so hindi yan ang tamang sagot. A physician or his driver when the former responds to emergency call, kasama rin yan. Hindi yan ang tamang sagot. The driver of a hospital ambulance, ay kasama rin yan. Ang hindi kasama sa exemption ng speed limit ay si driver ng city or municipal mayor. Yan nga yung isang executive order ng dating Pangulong Noynoy Aquino, di ba? Yung paggamit ng wangwang ay pinagbabawal sa mga empleyado ng gobyerno para lang hindi malate sa mga meeting, sa mga sesyon. Diba? Pero ngayon, nakakakita na ako. Diba? Very observable yung mga VIPs. Nakikita mo yung kanilang mga Land Cruisers, yung kanilang mga SUV mamahalin ay may nakabuntot na pulis. At sila ay ine-escortan para mas mabilis makarating sa kanilang pupuntahan. So, ang sabi ng executive order ni Noynoy Aquino, bawal daw yun. So, kahit ikaw ay ihing-ihi na, hindi ka po pwedeng gumamit ng wangwang para palihisin ang iyong mga constituents. So, ang po pwede lang gumamit ng wangwang ay ang mga emergency vehicle, just like for example, ambulansya, fire truck, police mobile in response to crime accident. Ayan. Crime incident at yung mga emergency vehicle na nagmamadali talaga. Kasi may sakay silang mga wounded or sick person. Next. In the following circumstances, a driver could leave the area of accident without held being liable for hit and run except. Ang mga sumusunod daw na pangyayari ay po pwedeng layasan ng driver para hindi magkaroon ng hit and run. Except. So ilan ba yung ano na yun? Ilan ba yung circumstance na yun? Tatlo lang naman yun eh. So hinahanap nating tamang sagot ay yung hindi kasama dun sa tatlong sirkumstansya. Letter A, his life is in impending danger of being injured by another person. Kasama yan. So, exemption yan. He surrenders to proper authority. That is an exemption for hit and run. He calls for the assistance of physician. Tumawag ng doktor. Kasama rin yan. So, ang hindi kasama ay yung tumawag ka para magkaroon sa ng suporta ang pamilya mo. Hindi yun kasama sa exemption ng hit and run. Okay, next. Whenever the load of motor vehicle extends more than 1 meter beyond the bed or body, there shall be displayed at every projecting end of such load ang use of tail light, use of warning device, use of warning flag, use of signaling device. So kapag ka daw yung sasakyan mo may kargado o may kargamento, tapos lumagpas ng 1 metro o higit pa yung karga sa sasakyan mo o motorsiklo, maglagay ka raw ng sako ng semento, basahan, sanga ng mangga, dahon ng buko. Ano daw ba dapat na nakalagay doon? Diaper? Ano ba dapat nalalawit-lawit doon? Ang tawag natin doon ay the use of red flag. Okay? At ang sukat ng red flag ay hindi bababa dapat ng 30 cm. Okay? Both height and width. Yan. So 30 cm hindi dapat siya bababa. So 30 cm pataas ang sukat. So kung sosobra sa 30 cm, walang problema. Pero kung bababa pa dyan, yung kanyang lapad at haba, bawal na yun. Hindi siya authorized. Okay? Ngayon, ano ang sabi ng Republic Act 4136 o the Land Transportation Traffic Code of the Philippines? Kung wala kang dalang red flag, pwede naman ilaw, sabi. Red light. Kung wala kang flag, red light. Lagyan mo ng ilaw yung dulo ng iyong kargamento. Next. Ray has a motorcycle with a plate number of 572 RAT. What is the registration schedule for his motorcycle? Kunin ulit natin yung dalawa. 72. 72. This is the month. And this is the week. 2. January, February. O, alam na natin agad yung tamang sagot. Ay, hindi pa pala. Dalawa pala yung February. 7. 1, 2, 3, first week. 4, 5, 6, third week. 7, 8, that is the third week. So, sagot natin ay February, third week. Siguro naman, familiar kayo sa mga hybrid na sasakyan. Ano? Yung mga BYD, mga hybrid na sasakyan. Dalawa ang tangke niyan eh. May tangke yan sa kabila, lalagyan na ng gasolina. Yung tangke niyan sa kabila, yung suotan doon, charging port yun. Diba? Sa SM, may charging port ng mga electric vehicle. Pag sinabi nating hybrid vehicle, ito yung mga di-gasolina na electric pa. Ang pinakasikat ngayon dyan, yung BYD. No? Pero napakarami ng mga sasakyan ngayon na hybrid. Kung mapapansin nyo, ang mga hybrid cars, ang kanilang ang kulay ng kanilang plate number ay green. Yan. Mapapansin nyo yun, kulay green yung kanilang plate number, yung mga letra at saka numero kulay green. Ibig sabihin, hybrid car yun. So pag sinabi nating hybrid car at ang plate number mo ay kulay green, in NCR, exempted ka sa number coding. Mayroon kang exemption for about 5 years yata mula nung nabili mo yun. So ibig sabihin, walang araw sa isang linggo na hindi ka po pwedeng magamitin yung sasakyan na yun. So yun yung binigay na consideration ng LTO sa mga hybrid cars. Next. Serves as a driver's temporary license for 3 days before the drivers collect their license from the LTO. A, citation ticket. B, TOP. Letter C, student permit. And letter D, official receipts. Serves as a driver's temporary license for 3 days. At ito ay binibigay ng LTO before the drivers collect their license from LTO. Tanggalin na natin yung citation ticket kasi ang nagbibigay ng citation ticket ay LGU through local police or traffic enforcers. Student permit, temporary license, no. Official receipt, no. Ang tamang sagot ay TOP. Ano ibig sabihin ng TOP? That is the temporary operators permit. Ayan. Pakisulat ninyo ha. Temporary operators permit. Next. You are driving your car on a busy street and approaching an intersection. As you approach the intersection, you notice a pedestrian waiting on the sidewalk. What traffic features should you be aware of this situation, especially if the pedestrian wishes to walk across the street? A. Flyover. B. Rotunda. C. Skyway. D. Crosswalk. Nagmamaneho ka raw sa isang busy street and you are approaching intersection. Drawing tayo intersection. Yeah. As you approaching the intersection, you notice a pedestrian waiting on the sidewalk. Andito yung pedestrian. Ayan. Ayan. Nasobra lang ako ng linya. What traffic feature should you be aware? So, may nag-aabang daw dyan eh. So, malamang tatawid yan. Tignan mo kung mayroong crosswalk, wag skyway. Hindi ka naman pwede maglakad doon. Crosswalk. Crosswalk is a type of pedestrian lane. Next. What agency is responsible for implementing of the Land Transportation Code of the Philippines? Is it the DOTR, LTO, LTFRB, or MMDA? What agency responsible for the implementation of Land Transportation Code of the Philippines? Ano na nga ulit yung Land Transportation Code? Kulang nga yan eh. Ang tama dyan ay Land Transportation and Traffic Code of the Philippines o yung tinatawag natin na Republic Act 4136. And that is no other than the LTO. Ang LTO ay nabuo because of this law. Okay? But LTO is under the DOTR or the Department of Transportation. Both LTO, LTFRB, and the Philippine Coast Guard is under the Department of Transportation. Next. Which agency direct assist the local Philippine National Police? When we say local Philippine National Police, ito yung mga police na under ng mayor sa mga city at munisipyo. Sino daw yung nag-a-assist sa kanila directly para mag-enforce ang traffic laws at the city or municipal level? May mga sumasagot ng Bravo, may sumasagot din ng Delta. Ano sagot natin? Tanggalin na natin yung Department of Transportation kasi hindi naman yan nag-i-enforce ng batas trapiko. That is the department itself, the mother department. Tanggalin din natin yung DPWH. Kasi kapag kami mga DPWH sa kalsada, baka sagasaan ng mga motorista. Bravo or Delta? Sabi dyan, no, which agency direct assist? Eh grabe naman. Si HPG pa ba ang mag-a-assist sa local Philippine National Police? Hindi HPG na yan eh. Mataas na sa local PNP stations. Ba? Ang nag-a-assist sa mga police para ayusin ang trapiko ay yung mga traffic enforcer na nakakalat sa kalsada. And that is the Traffic Management Bureaus or TMB. Dito sa Cabanatuan, kung nakataga Cabanatuan ka, nakalagay dyan, TMD CMO. Sa likod ng kanilang damit. Ano ibig sabihin ng TMD? Traffic Management Division, City Mayor's Office. Next. What type of driver's license is required for individuals who operate commercial vehicles such as large trucks or buses as part of their employment? What type of driver's license is required para makapag-operate daw ng commercial vehicle? When you say commercial vehicle, that is open for the public, commercial, such as large truck, bus. Yan. So tanggalin na natin yung conductor's license kasi driver's license yung sinasabi. Tanggalin din natin yung government license kasi very generic ang government license. Yes, driver's license is a government license. Pero between the two, non-professional or professional, kapag ka ikaw ay nagmamaneho ng sasakyan na ginagamit sa publiko, dapat ang dala-dala mong lisensya ay professional license. Kung ikaw naman ay nagmamaneho gamit ang iyong pagpribadong sasakyan, o pwede na yung non-professional license. Next. This refers to any person or vehicle using a roadway for the purpose of safe travels. Again, this refers to any person or vehicle using a roadway for the purpose of safe travel. Ito daw ay tumutukoy sa mga tao at sasakyan na gumagamit ng roadway. Tao at sasakyan. So, hindi po pwedeng maging sagot si pedestrian. Kasi si pedestrian ay tao lang. Hindi po pwedeng maging sasakyan. Hindi rin po pwedeng commuter kasi si commuter ay tao lang at hindi rin sasakyan. Hindi rin po pwedeng passenger kasi si passenger ay person, hindi vehicle. Yan sabi sa tanong, this refers to any person or vehicle using a roadway for the purpose of safe travel. Ang sabi nga natin, lahat ng gumagamit ng kalsada, mapatindera man ng fishball yan, driver, sasakyan, tumawid na aso, tumawid na pusa, tumawid na ipis, ang tawag sa lahat dyan ay traffic unit. Basta nakinabang ka sa kalsada, ang tawag doon ay traffic unit. Next. It refers to the action taken by the police such as arresting, issuing traffic citation. Ito daw. Action taken by the police such as arresting, issuing traffic citation, giving warning to the drivers for the purpose of deterring, discouraging, preventing violation. Saang 5 E's mo makikita yan? Anong scope ng traffic pillars yan? Is it engineering, ecology, citation, or enforcement? Meron man traffic citation? Walang ganoon. So, ang sagot dyan ay walang iba kundi traffic enforcement. Next. Anti-Distracted Driving Act prohibits the use of mobile phones while driving for all of the following except reading and sending text message, using GPS for navigation, playing games on the phone, watching videos on mobile device. Except ang ADA law daw ay pinagbabawal ang paggamit ng mobile phone while driving. Except ang pagbabasa ba ng text at pagsisend ng text ay distracted driving? Yes. So, hindi yan ang tamang sagot. Ang panonood ba ng video, Viva Max sa mobile device ay in violation? Yes. Paglalaro sa mobile phone? Yes. Yung gumagamit ka ng GPS for navigation o gumagamit ka ng Waze o kaya ng Google Map, in violation ba yun ng ADA law? The answer is no. So, hindi ka nakakapag-violate ng ADA law kung ikaw gumagamit lang ng Global Positioning System for navigation. Next. What is the purpose of traffic sign? Purpose of traffic sign to inform the drivers of upcoming road condition. Yun lang ba yun? Di ba sa traffic sign, we have 3. We have the so-called regulatory sign, warning sign, and informative sign. Yung letter A, regulatory sign yan. Yung letter B, informative sign yan. Letter C, warning sign yan. So, ang sagot natin dyan ay all of the above. So, all of the given choices are the purpose of traffic sign. Next. Basahin nyo mabuti Mr. Bean is pulled over and subjected to breath analyzer test, which shows his BAC is 0.06, 0.06. Given that Mr. Bean is driving a private motor vehicle, what does this imply about his situation? Ano sagot natin? Pipindot niya. Okay. Ang kanya BAC ay 0.06. Mr. Bean is not in violation of RA 10586. Ano ang sabi ng 10586? Kung ikaw ay nagdadrive ng private motor vehicle at ang iyong BAC ay nasa 0.06 na, sobra na yan. Okay? Considering na private motor vehicle, kasi pagka public, dapat 0.0%. Walang katas ng alcohol sa dugo. So, ang sagot natin dyan ay letter B. Mr. Bean is driving under the influence of alcohol as his BAC exceeds of 0.05. Ang tanong, paano kung halimbawa yung BAC ni Mr. Bean 0.05, sakto? May violation o wala? The answer is wala. Ang sabi sa batas, pag nag-exceed ng 0.05. Pero pag saktong 0.05, wala. Okay pa yun. Hindi ka considered as DUIA. Ano yung DUIA? Driving under the influence of alcohol. Meron pang isa, driving under the influence of dangerous drugs. Driving under the influence of dangerous drugs, DUID. Okay? So, ang sagot natin dito ay letter B. Nakuha ba? Okay, next. What should you do if you encounter a flashing red traffic light? Flashing red traffic light. So, majority of the answer is bravo. Check natin ha. Pag mayroong flashing red traffic light, ano gagawin mo? Stop and wait until it turns green. Slow down and proceed with caution. Red nga eh. Red nga eh. Bakit tutuloy ka pa? Red nga eh. Di ba? Hindi po pwede yung B. Huwag mong intindihin yung flashing. Basta nakapula yan, stop yan. Slow down and proceed with caution. Tutuloy ka pa, red nga eh. Letter C, speed up and drive to the. Kung di mo na mahal ang buhay mo, letter C, sagot mo. Pero ang sagot natin dyan, red eh. Stop and wait until it turns green. Oh, ganun lang yun eh. O yun, parang ito, yung traffic light sa gilid. Ayun sa baba ito. Pag red, stop. Pag green, go. Pag amber or yellow or orange, that is prepare to stop. Hindi, bilisan mo pa. Diba sa inyo, pag nakita mo yung susulay pagkatapos ni red. Pagkayari ni red, green. Hindi po pwedeng red tapos mag-amber, magdidilaw tapos magi-green. Hindi po pwede. Nakahinto ka na nga tapos maghahanda ka pa ulit sa paghinto. Diba? Pagkayari ng red, green. Pagkayari ng green, amber. Pagkayari ng amber, and then red. Okay? Next. Last question na ito for traffic. Mr. Hank, who is driving truck, is found to have BAC of 0.01 during a roadside test. What does this imply regarding his compliance with... Malinaw oh. Si Hank daw ay nagdadrive ng truck. Mayroong 0.01. Alam na. Mr. Hank is only partially compliant. Hindi po pwede Meron pang partially compliant. Meron pang medyo sumusunod sa batas. Dalawa lang yun. Sumusunod ka o hindi ka sumusunod sa batas. Mr. Hank is not violating the law since his BAC. Hindi sobra nga eh. Letter C, Mr. Hank is required to undergo further testing dangerous drug. Dangerous drugs, BAC, blood alcohol concentration ang pinag-uusapan natin. Ba't napunta sa drugs? Mali yun. Diba? Gagalit ako eh. Ako gumawa na to, no? Parang hindi tama yata. Oh, ang sagot natin, letter D. Mr. Hang is in violation of the law because BAC overs. That is a proof of DUIA. Okay? So, ito muna for this traffic, and then we will proceed to fire and introduction to cybercrime. But before we proceed, let us have a 10 minutes break muna. Coffee break muna or kung ano man ang po pwede niyong gawin dyan. Yeah. Sige, sagutin natin. Which operation process requires fire safety measures? O, sa apat na ito, alin daw dito yung nangangailangan ng fire safety measure? Is it A, pananahi, B, industrial baking, C, data entry, letter D, marketing? Yeah. So the answer here is, of course, sa pananahi, wala namang, dito sa apat na to, sewing, data entry, marketing, di ba? Sa industrial baking ang nangangailangan ng fire safety measures. Okay, so that's letter B. Next. Nawawala-wala ba yung PowerPoint sa inyo? Ba't ganun? Mabalik-balik si Freddy. Ayan. Ganun. Kaya lang, reserve ko. Ayan. Wala, pinagbabago talaga kayo ni Freddy. Oh, labas na labas eh. Nag-glitch eh. Oh. Kaya lang, close ko nga muna. Reshare ko lang. Yeah. Sagot. What is the minimum number of employees a business establishment must have to be required to establish a fire brigade? Is it A, 25, B, 50, C, 75, D, 100? Ay, asa na? Kinuha mo ano? Ni ating iClick. Di pa. Kinuha sa akin. Binuksan niya yung dulo. Minimum number of employees sa isang business establishment, ano daw yung minimum number of employees na kinakailangan para makagawa ng fire brigade? And then, very good, the correct answer is letter B, that is 50. Next. In a high noise area, such as a factory, which type of a fire alarm signal would be most effective in ensuring occupants are aware of the alarm? Sa isang factory daw, maingay. Okay? Maingay. Tapos, kailangan ng alarm. Fire alarm, siyempre. Ngayon, anong type of alarm daw ang kailangan lagay? Visual alarms, manual call points, carbon monoxide detectors, or multi-sensor detectors. So kapag ang isang area such as factory ay maingay, huwag ka maglalagay ng audible alarm. Kasi maingay nga eh, so hindi rin maririnig yung alarm. So mas okay na maglagay tayo ng visual alarms. Okay, next. Nag-glitch yung ano. O yan eh. Sagot. Which of the following is a responsibility of fire inspector? Alin daw sa mga susunod? Is it A, review and evaluate building plans and specification? Conduct site verification on building under construction? Develop fire safety codes? and regulation, hindi trabaho ng inspector ito Inspect buildings and facilities for compliance with the fire code. Yes. So as fire inspector, ang trabaho mo ay hindi reviewin yung building plans. Si engineer ang mayroong trabaho niyan. Also the conduct site verification for buildings, pang trabahong engineer ito. Okay? So ito ay trabaho ni building inspector. Alin ang mag-inspect ng buildings and facilities for compliance. Nawawala-wala yung ano. Nga lang, iyan ko lang. Ayusin ko lang para yun. Presents. Yun. Yun. Okay na. So nga lang, wala akong pang sulat dito. Yun. Lumabas na. Lumabas na naman si Freddy. Yan. Kaso nga lang, wala na akong pen. Wala nang pen dito. Nakikita nyo ba yung arrow? Paki-click nga yung clapping hands kung nakikita nyo yung arrow ko. Ayun na lang, tuturo ko na lang. Sige, sagot tayo Which piece of equipment is essential for protecting firefighters from smoke inhalation? Helmet, self-contained breathing apparatus, fire-resistant boots, gloves. Nasan ba ilong mo? Kung yung ilong mo nasa paa, isagot mo letter C. Kung yung ilong mo nasa kamay, letter D ang sagot. Kung yung ilong mo nasa bunbunan, letter A ang sagot. Kung ang ilong mo ay parang sa kinalalagyan ng ilong ko, ang isagot mo ay letter ayaw na. Ano ba nangyari? Sira na yung mouse ko. Wala. Siyempre, ang isasagot natin ay self-contained breathing apparatus. Okay? Next. Which firefighting technique involves cutting a hole in the roof of a burning building? Anong klaseng firefighting technique daw yun? Ikaw ay nagkakat ng butas sa bubong para lumabas ang usok. Is it ventilation, smothering, overhauling, or salvage? Pag sinabi natin kasing smothering, yung nasusunog, tinalukbungan mo ng basang kumot or kinonfine mo para mawala ng oxygen, that is smothering. Pag sinabi naman nating overhauling, ito yung i-check mo yung isang site to avoid the rekindling of the fire para hindi siya maulit. Pag sinabi naman natin salvage, ito yung pagliligtas mo ng gamit. Pag rescue, ang nililigtas mo tao. Pag salvage, ang nililigtas mo from the fire scene is a thing or mga bagay, appliances, or other stuffs. Okay? So, sagot dito ay ventilation. So, dalawang klase or tatlong klase ang ventilation natin. Meron tayong tinatawag na vertical ventilation at saka horizontal ventilation. Pagka vertical ventilation, bumubutas ka sa bubong para lumabas yung usok sa bubong. Pagka naman sinabi mong horizontal ventilation, binubuksan mo yung mga bintana para sumingaw yung kanan pakaliwa. Yung isa naman ay mechanical ventilation. When we say mechanical ventilation, gumagamit ka ng blower or exhaust fan para lumabas yung usok doon sa building. Okay? Thumbs up nga kung naririnig ako, naiintindihan, malinaw yung PowerPoint. Very good. Next question. During a fire, you find that the fire suppression system in a server room has malfunctioned. What should be the first step? May sunog. Nalaman mo na yung fire suppression system sa server room ay hindi gumagana. Ano gagawin mo? Wait for the fire department to arrive, attempt to manually operate the system, evacuate the area, and ensure the fire department is notified. Letter D, try to extinguish the fire using water-based extinguisher. Patay ka dyan. Ang sagot natin, of course, ay letter C. Huwag mo hintayin yung fire department na dumating. Intay ka ng intay sa fire department, dumating, hindi mo naman pala ininformahan. Ala kang iniintay. Ang iniintay mo dun, mamatay ka. Letter B, attempt to manually operate the system. Hindi mo nga alam yung fire suppression system. Hindi mo alam gamitin. Diba? Merong mga circuits yun. Paano kung hindi mo naman alam gawin or galawin? Letter D, try to extinguish the fire using a water-based extinguisher. Hindi po pwedeng water-based kasi hindi mo naman alam, baka mamaya may mga electric current doon. Imbis na ikaw ay makasalba ng buhay, baka yung buhay mo naman ang maisalba. So, ang tamang sagot, mag-evacuate ka na at saka i-notify mo yung fire department. Next. What is the primary focus of rescue phase? Creating fire breaks, applying water to flames, removing smoke and heat, and saving fire victims. Sinabi ko na to kanina. Ano daw yung primary focus ng rescue phase? That is, of course, to save fire victims. When we say fire breaks, pag sinabi natin fire breaks, ano yun eh? Halimbawa, grass fire. Sa grass fire kasi, ang ginagawa, pag nasusunog na yung damuhan, mahirap nang pigilin yun eh. Ang ginagawa ng mga bombero, nagkikreate sila ng fire break. Kung saan, sinusunog na nila yung mga damo dun sa pupuntahan pa lang ng apoy. Para nang sa ganon, wala nang susunugin yung apoy. Kumbaga, mawawalan na siya ng fuel. Ang tawag doon, fire break. So, in advance, susunugin mo na yung mga damo dun sa dulo, sa pupuntahan pa lang ng apoy. Para pagdating ng apoy doon, wala nang susunugin. So, titigil na yung apoy. Okay? Applying water to flames? No. Removing smoke and heat? No. So, the primary focus of rescue phase is, of course, to save fire victims. Next. Ano sagot natin? You are part of firefighting team that has just extinguished a fire in a residential home. Parte ka daw ng firefighting team na nakapagpatay ng apoy sa isang residential home. What should you do next to ensure that the fire does not reignite? Ano daw ang dapat mong gawin para masiguro natin na hindi na uulit at sisilab pa ang apoy? Letter A, seal off the area to prevent unauthorized access. B, leave the scene immediately as the fire is already out. Inform the homeowner to monitor the area. Sabihin mo sa may-ari, napatay na namin yung apoy, bahala ka na magbantay dyan, huwag ka matutulog, baka mapoy ulit yan. Pwede mo ba sabihin yun doon sa may-ari ng bahay? Letter D, perform an overhauling operation to check for remaining hotspots. At yun yung tamang sagot. Letter D. Next. Ano sagot natin? Which passive fire protection? Majority of the answer is alpha. Check natin ha. Which passive fire protection system is crucial for ensuring safe evacuation during fire? Passive fire protection system. crucial for ensuring safe evacuation during fire. Emergency exit lights, fire hose rails, fire extinguishers, smoke detectors. Ano sagot natin? Pakipindot nga. Ang tamang sagot ay, of course, emergency exit lights. Para safe kang maka-evacuate during fire, kailangan, syempre, nakikita mo yung dinadaanan mo. So, that is the purpose of emergency exit lights. Next. When using a fire blanket to extinguish a fire, what is the primary action taken by the blanket? Magamit ka daw ng kumot para magpatay ng apoy. E ano daw ba ang ginagawa ng blanket? Bakit niya napapatay ang apoy? A. Cooling the fire, absorbing the heat, activating the fire alarm system, smothering by cutting off the oxygen. Nabanggit ko na ito kanina. Kung cooling the fire, the best way to cool the fire is water. To apply water. Because water is the best cooling agent. Letter B, absorbing the heat. No. So that is not the purpose of blanket. Activating the fire alarm. Hindi mo kailangan ng blanket para makapag-activate ng fire alarm system. Ang ginagawa ng blanket ay inaalisan niya ng oxygen yung apoy kapag tinalokbong mo ang blanket sa isang nagliliyab na bagay. Next. Who is responsible for developing the training design for fire brigades and fire safety practitioner? Sino daw ang responsable na magbigay ng training sa mga fire brigade and fire safety practitioner? Local barangay ba, BFP ba, fire brigade chief, or the city or municipal fire marshal? Majority of the answer is letter B, and the correct answer is, of course, letter B. Si BFP, kanila yun. Okay? So sila dapat ang nagbibigay ng trainings sa mga fire brigades and safety practitioners. Thank you po. Next. What is the purpose of practice drills for fire brigades? Bakit? To familiarize brigade members with office's protocols, to simulate firefighting under perfect weather conditions only. Kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng practice drills, of course, para ma-check natin yung abilidad ng mga miyembro kapag ka nangyari na yung hindi inaasahang mangyari. So, kaya nagkakaroon ng drills, the fire drills, the earthquake drills, nang sa ganon, makita, ito bang fire brigade na ito ay ready if in case magkaroon ng fire emergencies. Okay? Next. Refers to unsafe building in case of fire because it will burn easily or because it lacks adequate exits or fire escapes. Refers to unsafe building in case of fire because it will burn easily. Ano tawag doon? Fire alarms, hazard, fire traps, or duct system. Tanggalin na natin yung fire alarms at saka duct system. Is it hazard or fire traps? Pag ang tinutukoy natin ay yung mismong lugar o yung mismong building ay madaling masunog, ang tawag natin doon ay no other than fire traps. Pag sinabi nating hazards or fire hazards, ito naman yung mga parte ng building na kung saan ay nakakakita tayo ng fire hazards, tulad na lang ng mga fire exit pero nakakandado. Tulad na lang ng mga lutuan na may katabing mga flammable material. So ang tawag natin doon ay fire hazard. Kapag ka naman yung building ay madaling masunog at saka kumbaga pag inassess mo yung building, pag nasunog ito, madaling matupok, tapos mahirap lumabas. At tawag natin doon, fire traps. Next, a device or system to warn. Warn yun ha, not to warn. Warn. Kumbaga, warning. Okay, a device or system to warn the occupants of the building of firefighting elements of the presence or danger of fire is enable them to undertake immediate action to save lives and property and suppress harm. So we are talking about the device or system para warningan ng mga nakatira doon. Standpipe, sprinklers, fire alarm, lato-lato. Apo, lato-lato, walang tik 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 tik. Kami naglato-lato na may sunog. Hindi yan. Diba? Siyempre, yung tunog na inaabangan natin kapag kami mga fire emergencies is the fire alarm. Ang sprinkler, di naman natunog yan. Ang standpipes, hindi rin. Tubo lang yan. Okay? Next. The portion of roadway or public way that should be kept open and unobstructed at all times for the expedient operation of firefighting units. Anong sagot natin dyan? Saglit lang. Ako ay sisinga lang. Okay, sagutan nyo lang. Yan yung ako 3 minutes. Ano sagot natin? Pakipindot nga ulit. The portion of a roadway or public way that should be kept open and unobstructed at all times for the expedient operation of firefighting units. Sa SM, nakikita nyo yan eh. Dito rin sa school, sa main, sa San Jose, hindi ko lang alam kung meron kasi hindi naman po pwede pumasok ang fire truck doon. Hindi rin makakasya. Pero dito sa main, meron mga nakalagay na ganyan. Ang tawag dyan ay fire lane. Okay? Bawal paradahan yan kasi if in case of fire incidents, dyan paparada yung mga fire trucks. Okay? Next. A box or cabinet where fire hoses, valves, or other equipments are stored and arranged for firefighting. Ano ang tawag natin dyan? Box or cabinet. Kung saan nakalagay yung fire hoses. Yan yung in case of emergency. Yung hose reel, yun yung pinag-connection. Thumbs up nga kung naririnig ako. Thumbs up, please, thumbs up. Ayan. Wala. Ayun, lumabas na yung sagot. Ang tawag dyan ay hose box. Okay? Yung hose reel, yun yung pinaglalagyan ng ng hose mismo. No, para pag hinila mo, umiikot siya. Emergency cabinet, dito sa main, meron din yan. Sa San Jose, hindi ko lang na-observe, pero dito sa main, maraming mga cabinet dito na nakalagay doon yung mga gas, palakol, martilyo, if in case na kailangan mag-rescue doon, no? Nandun yung mga gamit, mga bolt cutter, yan. And then yung fire hose is yung mismong hose na nakakonect sa standpipes. Next. An active chemical reaction that takes place between fuel, heat, oxygen in the form of light and noticeable heat. Ano tawag natin doon? Para magsama-sama ang fuel, heat, and oxygen. Of course, ang tawag natin dyan is no other than fire. When we say flame, that is the body of the burning gas. Yun yung nakikita natin, yung flame. And then the gas is the byproduct of the fire, no? And then the heat is also the byproduct of the fire and also the light. Yun yung nakikreate ng fire. Next. Basa. Use the AU, analyze, and understand. Firefighters arrive at a residential building engulfed in flames. When you say engulf, natutupok ng apoy yung building. Their primary focus is to contain the fire to the origin and avoid it from spreading to adjacent structures. What objective of fire protection does this action align with? Kino-confine yung fire doon sa pinanggalingan para hindi na kumalat. So halimbawa, yung apoy ay nagsimula sa room 111. So ang gagawin mo doon, sasara mo lahat ng pinto, lahat ng bintana para mawala ng oxygen doon. So ano daw ang objective mo? Minimize the property damage, ensuring firefighter safety, preventing the spread of fire, or rescuing trapped individuals. Ang sagot natin dyan is of course letter C. Kaya mo kino-contain or ikinukulong yung apoy doon sa isang kwarto ay para hindi na siya kumalat. Kasi pagka umapoy doon sa loob, wag mo lang bubuksan kasi po pwedeng magkaroon ng backdraft. Pag nagkaroon ng backdrafts, magkakaroon ng pagsabog or explosion doon sa loob ng kwarto, papalabas. So dapat, kung sakaling merong apoy, hahawakan mo muna yung doorknob ng pinto kung meron bang nagngangalit na apoy doon sa loob. Kaya nga yung mga pintuan natin, no, diyan sa San Jose, even dito sa main, kung mapapansin ninyo, do may mga Wala palang mga pinto yung mga classroom. Pero yung mga opisina ay may mga pinto tapos may salamin. No? Ang purpose ng salamin na yon ay para makita mo, if in case may sunog man sa loob, makita mo kung nag-aapoy yung loob. Para hindi mo siya agad bubuksan. Kasi pag binuksan mo bigla, pwedeng magkaroon ng backdraft. So pag binuksan mo yung pinto, susubo yung apoy papunta sa'yo. So delikado yon. Next. The following are the elements of fire except heat, fuel, oxygen, or nitrogen. Tatlo lang naman ang elements ng fire sa fire triangle. That is heat, fuel, and oxygen. Yung nitrogen ay hindi kasama. But in the fire tetrahedron, we have four. We have heat, fuel, oxygen, and the uninhibited chemical chain reaction. Okay? Next. Refers to the chemical decomposition of matter through the action of heat. Ano ang tawag sa pagkasira ng isang bagay through the action of heat? Through thermal or chemical decomposition. Is it decay, burning, conduction, or pyrolysis? When we say decay, pagkasira. When we say burning, pagkasunog. When we say conduction, ito yung paglipat ng init from isang bagay to another. At yung tinatawag natin na chemical decomposition of matter through the action of heat, ito lumalabas din even in the board examination, that is what we call pyrolysis. No? Yan ang wag na wag ninyong kakalimutan, si pyrolysis. Next. The most common source of heat in combustion reaction, tatlo lang naman yan, electrical, mechanical, and chemical. Yung energy pole, kay San Goku yun. Ano sagot natin? The most common source of heat in combustion reaction. Electrical, mechanical, or chemical? Iba-iba ng sagot O, tandaan nyo ang common source ng heat pagdating sa combustion reaction ay chemical energy. Okay, chemical energy. Apat pala yan. Electrical, mechanical, chemical, and nuclear. Pang-apat yung nuclear. Excuse. Okay? But the most common is what we call chemical. Pero apat yan electrical, mechanical, chemical, and nuclear. Sa nuclear energy, dalawa yon. Isang nuclear fusion at saka nuclear fission. Okay? Pag sinabi natin nuclear fusion, nagsama. Nuclear fission, naghiwalay. Next. A phase of burning in which materials or structures are burning in the presence of adequate oxygen. Is it incipient, pre-burning, smoldering, fully developed? Phase ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, phase. Phase of burning in which material or structures are burning in the presence of adequate oxygen. Ibig sabihin, maganda na liyab na to. Malaki na yung apoy. Kasi kinain na niya yung buong fuel. So, alisin na natin yung incipient at saka yung fully developed. Why? Kasi stage yun. Ang nasa question ay phase. So, that is what we call the free burning phase. Yung smoldering, paubos na. Paubos na yung free burning. Kasalukuyan pa lang nakalakihan ng apoy. Next. Consider the nature of flammable materials, foams, or CO2 is best extinguishing agent. This is a blank fire. Ano daw yung best ano daw yung klase ng apoy na kung saan considered as best extinguishing agent ang foam or yung CO2? Is it class A, B, C, or D? The answer here is no other than letter B. Okay? So, ano na nga ulit yung mga class A material when we say class Class A material, ito yung mga kung wood, paper, yan. Yung class C naman, ito yung may mga electric. No? Class D naman is yung mga flammable metals. Okay? Next, which is the crime that is maliciously and intentionally or recklessly starting a fire causing an explosion. Crime ang tinatanong natin ha. Dito sa apat na to, isa lang naman ang crime dyan. Burning is not a crime. Fire is not a crime. Radiation is not a crime. So the correct answer here is no other than arson. That is the intentionally, maliciously, or recklessly starting or causing fire. Okay, that is under the revised penal code. Next, loose fire triangle is composed of the following except. Ang fire triangle daw, hindi ang tinutukoy natin, fire triangle, not the fire tetrahedron. The loose fire triangle is composed of the following except. A, flame, B, oxygen, C, heat, D, fuel. Ang loose fire triangle ay composed of oxygen, heat, and fuel. Ang hindi kasama dyan ay flame. Pero pag pinagsama-sama mo ang oxygen, heat, at fuel, makakabuo ka ng fire. At pag merong fire, merong luminous burning body of gas. And that is what we call the flame. Yun yung nakikita nating itsura ng fire. Ang tawag natin doon ay flame. Okay? Last question for fire and we will proceed to cybercrime investigation. The fire suppression, which practice of reducing the heat output of fire, reducing the area over which the fire exists, or suppressing or extinguishing the fire by depriving it of fuel, oxygen, or heat, or mitigating the system fire is what? Is it fire control, fire safety, fire education, or fire safety management? Sa question, meron ng apoy. So, hindi ka po pwedeng mag-lecture pag may apoy na. So, hindi po pwede ang fire education. Sa fire safety, may apoy na rin eh. So, ibig sabihin, pag may apoy na, dapat nang i-control. So, that is fire control. Okay? So, yung phases of fire operation, nasa notes ninyo, yung mga overhauling, salvage, rescue phase, yung mga phases of fire, paki-familiarize ninyo. Okay? So, proceed tayo sa Paki-check nga kung nakikita ninyo yung slide. Pa-react nga. Ayan. Okay, sagutin natin. Sagot. Any individual or service provider who refuses to comply with the authority carrying a warrant to disclose computer data or information gathering may be charged with blank. A, contempt, B, penalty, C, obstruction of justice, D, fine and imprisonment. Yung individual daw or service provider tumanggi sa NBI at sa PNP or sa authorities na may dalang warrant to disclose computer data para makakuha ng information ay po pwede nating sampahan ng contempt, penalty, obstruction of justice, or fine and imprisonment. Anong sagot natin? Hindi mo po pwedeng i-contempt of court yan. Ala naman sa korte eh. Namang warrant to disclose computer data. So po pwede mo sampahan yung tao na yun o yung service provider ng obstruction of justice. Ayaw makipagtulungan eh. May warrant ka naman sana. O pwede naman sana silang tumanggi kung walang dalang warrant ang authority. Ang problema, may dalang warrant to disclose computer data. Now, the court now give the authority to the PNP or NBI to instruct or to oblige the service provider or the individual to give data, no, na hinihingi nila for the purpose of investigation. Next. How long can a warrant issued under the rule of cybercrime warrants remain effective? Kung ang warrant of arrest at search warrant ay meron tayong tinitignan na period, okay? Ang arrest warrant, pag after 10 days, hindi naman siya mag-expire pero papalitan ng alias warrant. Search warrant naman is good for 10 days only but subject for extension din for valid reason. So, ganun din naman ang cybercrime warrant. Pero sa unang bigay na cybercrime warrant, ilan lang ang effectivity period? 10 days from the date of request, 10 days from its issuance, 10 hours from filing complaint, or 10 hours from the receipt of the criminal action. Very good. The answer here is letter B. The 10 days before its issuance. Ang tanong, po pwede bang ma-extend? Yes. Okay, po pwede siyang ma-extend basta valid ang reason. Pero ang extension ay hindi po pwedeng lumagpas din ng 10 araw. At magsisimula ang period of extension from the original date of expiration. Tandaan niyo na. Oh, next. Law enforcement authorities must obtain a warrant before conducting search of computer device or system to obtain computer data for forensic examination. What should this warrant be called? Ang law enforcement authorities daw ay kinakailangan na mag-obtain muna ng warrant bago mag-conduct ng search sa computer device. Anong tawag sa warrant na ito? Warrant to intercept, warrant to examine, warrant to search, seize, and examine computer data, or warrant to disclose computer data. Ang sagot, warrant to examine lang or warrant to search, seize, and examine computer data? Basahin niyo mabuti tanong. Baka sumosobra kayo. Ang sabi lang naman dyan, law enforcement authorities must obtain warrant before conducting search of computer. Ang isa-search mo yung mismong computer na, hindi mo hahanapin pa lang yung computer device. Magkakanda ka ng search sa mismong computer device na. Ang isa-search mo yung loob ng device, hindi yung hahanapin mo pala. Yun lang naman ang sinabi. So, ang kailangan mo lang dyan, letter B, warrant to examine computer data. Hindi mo kailangan yung warrant to search, seize, and examine computer data kasi nasa iyo na yung computer device. Okay? Thumbs up nga kung naiintindihan yung explanation. Very good. Next. Which of the following cities does not have the special authority to act on application and issue warrants that are enforceable nationwide and outside the Philippines? Haba. How many cities has this special authority? We have 8 cities. So, yung huwag niyo kakalimutan, kay Mama Dapa kasi Iloilo. Alin doon sa kay Mama Dapa kasi Iloilo, alin dyan yung hindi kasali doon? Is it Manila, Pasay, Makati, or Pasig? Ang daming sumasagot ng ang daming sumasagot ng Pasig. Ang daming sumasagot ng Pasay. Ulitin ko which of the following cities does not have the special authority? Yung tatlo dyan, may special authority. Yung isa lang ang wala. Yung Manila ba may special authority? Yes. Yung Makati ba may special authority? Meron. Alin yung hinahanap natin? Yung walang special authority. Ano yung ibig sabihin ng pa? Sa kay Mama Dapa? Pasay or Pasig? Ang sabi natin, huwag kayo malilito. Ang tinutukoy nating pa sa kay Mama Dapa ay yung may ilog na dating marumi. Ewan ko lang, baka marumi na ulit ngayon. And that is Pasig. So ang tamang sagot dito, Pasay. Kasi si Pasay ang walang special authority. Okay? Next. In the realm of cybercrime, what sets a Trojan horse apart from other forms of malware? To simplify the question, ano ang pinagkaiba ng Trojan horse sa ibang malware? A. It spreads rapidly through the network. It encrypts files and demands ransom. It camouflages itself as a genuine program. It disrupts service availability through overwhelming traffic. Halo-halo na may sagot nyo. Oh. Letter A, yung letter A, it spreads rapidly through a network. Yan ay tumutukoy sa virus o worm. Okay? Yung letter B, it encrypts files and demands ransom. Yan ay tumutukoy sa ransomware. Yung letter D, it disrupts service availability through overwhelming traffic. Yan ay tumutukoy sa denial of service attack or yung DDoS attack. Okay? Denial of service attack. So, ang sagot dito ay letter C yan Letter C. Yung arrow na yan sa letter C nakatutok yan It camouflages itself as a genuine program. Yun yung Trojan horse o Trojan attack. Ibig sabihin ng Trojan horse, nag-download ka ng application, akala mo yun yung kanyang ginagawa lang. Pero behind the curtain, under the table, iba pala ang ginagawa niya. So yun si Trojan horse or Trojan attack malware. Next. Sagot. A cybercriminal uses fake login page to trick users into providing their usernames and password. What type of cybercrime demonstrated in this scenario? Gumamit ng fake login page para manloko, para ma-provide ang username and password. Ano tawag natin dyan? Pindot ang reaction. Majority of the answer is phishing. May sumasagot ng smishing. May sumasagot ng DDoS attack. Tanggalin na natin ransomware at saka yung DDoS attack. Okay? Ang smishing is a type of phishing. Sa question, the question is talking about phishing. And that is the most prevalent o ito yung pinaka maraming klase na type of hacking. That is phishing. Next. To deliberately disturb A. Si B daw ay nilunod, inundates. When we say inundates, nilunod. Sinenda niya ng napakaraming email si letter A para madisturbo si A. What action did B undertake in this scenario? Action daw eh. Hindi na natin po pwede sagot yung alpha. Kasi alpha is a law. That is a special penal law. Not an action. Email bombing, logic bombs, email spoofing. Yung email spoofing, gumawa ka ng email sa pangalan ng ibang entity o ng ibang tao at nagpapakilala ka bilang isang legitimate entity. Yung logic bomb naman is a type of malware na kung saan application siya na pagka na-meet mo yung triggering point niya, bigla na lang masisira yung cellphone mo or device. So, since ang nakalagay dito ay nilunod, sinenda ng napakaraming email, that is more on email bombing. Okay? Next. Any information contained in the form of computer data or any other form that is held by a service provider refers to blank. A. Content of communication. B. Computer data. C. Traffic data. D. Subscribers information. Again, any information contained in the form of computer data or any other form that is held. Ibig sabihin, pinangahawakan ng service provider. Ano ang tawag natin doon? Nag-register tayo ng SIM card, nagbigay tayo ng mga sensitive information at ang tawag natin sa ibinigay natin kay Smart, Token Text, Globe, dito, doon, dine, ICE, subscribers, information. So, yun yung hawak nila. Kaya nga, hindi mo na magagamit ang SIM card if hindi ka registered and verified. Kaya madali nang malaman ngayon kung sino yung mga nagte-text sa'yo na nag-send sa'yo na ikaw daw ay nanalo ng 5 milyong piso. At sinasabi nilang sila si Kuya Well. Next. Talk and Talk provides users of its service the ability to communicate by means of computer system. Talk and Talk is considered as blank. A. Network. B. Subscribers. C. Service provider. D. Mobile network. Si Talk and Talk daw ay nagpo-provide ng service para makapag-communicate tayo through computer system. So considered siya as what? Network, subscriber, service provider, or mobile network. So definition of terms na ibinigay ng Republic Act 10175, ang tawag sa ganyan ay service provider. Service provider yan napapaling lang yung araw. Ang tawag sa atin, subscriber. Ang tawag sa mga may-ari ng ating network ay service provider. Not network. Service provider ang term na ginamit sa kanila. Next. Before issuing cyber warrant, who must personally examine the facts? Is it the prosecutor, DOJ, judge, or the court? May sumasagot ng court, may sumasagot ng judge, may prosecutor pa. Ano, napaka-simple. Ang tanong, wala namang pinagkaiba ang cyber warrant sa other types of warrant. Pare-parehas lang nang nag-i-issue yan. Ang tanong, before issuing a cyber warrant, who? Huwag mo nang isagot yung DOJ, tsaka yung court. Who? Si prosecutor ba ay may kapangyarihan na mag-issue ng warrant? Wala. Sino? Si judge. Judge. Next. What is the term used in Republic Act 10175? Referring to the instruction, communication with storing data, in retrieving data from or otherwise making use of any resources of a computer system or communication network. Sagot. Sagot. What is the term used in RA 10175 referring to the instruction, communication, storing data, retrieving data, or otherwise making use of any resources of a computer system or communication network? Is it alteration, access, computer, or data? So majority of the answer is letter B. Are you sure? Is it access, instruction, communication, storing data, retrieving data? Is it computer? Paiba-iba naman kayo ng sagot. The answer here is access. That is the definition of access under 10175. Access refers to the instruction, communication, storing data, retrieval data, or otherwise making use of resources of computer system or communication network. Yan mismo yung ibinigay sa definition of terms ng 10175. Next. Ito. What are the cities that has the special authority to act application and issue warrants, cyber warrants ito which shall be enforceable nationwide and outside the Philippines? Kay Mama Dapa, kasi Iloilo. Isa-isayin ninyo. Delta, Davao, Quezon, Iloilo, Pasig, Manila, Cagayan Valley. Mali na agad. Wala namang Cagayan Valley ron. Letter C, Quezon, Manila, Makati, Davao, Pasay. Wala namang Pasay doon. Letter A, Quezon, Manila, Makati, Davao, Pasay. May Pasay pa rin. Letter B, Davao, Quezon, Iloilo, Pasig, Manila, Cagayan de Oro, Makati, Cebu. Kompleto yung 8. 8 diretso. Kay Mama Dapa, kasi Iloilo, the correct answer is letter B. Yan. Hindi lang sa sunod-sunod, pero yan yung nandun sa 8. Next. Can evidence procured without a valid warrant or beyond the authority of the same be admissible for any proceeding before any court or tribunal? O pwede daw ba na maging admissible pa ang ebidensya na nakuha without a valid warrant and beyond the authority? Sumobra ka sa authority na dapat mo lang in-enforce. Tapos, beyond or sobra pa siya dun sa valid warrant. Ibig sabihin, nag-expire na yung first issuance of warrant, tapos dun mo lang siya na-serve or na-enforce. Is it yes or no? Malinaw dyan, no. Tutanggalin na natin yung dalawang yes. So letter B or letter D? Tingnan muna natin yung delta. No, the authorities will be subject for investigation. Yun ba yung dahilan kung bakit hindi siya admissible? Tingnan natin yung letter B. No, the procured evidence will be inadmissible. Sabi nga natin, that will become a fruit of the poisonous tree. So kahit gaano kaganda ang ebidensya, hindi yan tatanggapin sa korte if the process is compromised. So dapat yung proseso, the chain of custody, pasok pa sa period of validity ng warrant, dapat na kinoconsider natin yon para na sa ganon, yung pinagtrabahuhan mo, hindi nasasayang. Next. The Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center or the CICC is under the administrative supervision of what office? Is it A, Department of Justice, B, Supreme Court, C, Office of the President, letter D, Office of the Solicitor General? Saan naka-under ang administrative supervision ng CICC or the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center? Okay, ang sagot natin dyan ay sa Office of the President. Iba yung sa Department of Justice, Office of the Cybercrime yun. Isulat sa notes ha. Ang CICC or the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center is directly under the administrative supervision of the Office of the President. Dalawa kasi yan CICC at saka OC. OC stands for Office of the Cybercrime. Magkaiba sila. Ang Office of the Cybercrime is under the Department of Justice or the DOJ. Ang CICC, Office of the President. Lagay niyo lang dyan. CICC, OP. OC, DOJ. O para alam niyo, Office of the Cybercrime DOJ, Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center, that is for the Office of the President. Next. Pinong intentionally deteriorates the files of Robin, containing reports to be present by the latter, or containing the reports to be presented by the latter. Sino yung latter? Si Robin. Si former, si Pinong. So, merong mga reports na ipipresent si Robin sa kanyang mga supervisor. Pero si Pinong intentionally nasira niya yung mga files ni Robin. So, what is the crime committed by Pinong? Is it illegal access, misuse of device, illegal interception, or the data interference? Yung illegal access, in-access mo yung device na hindi mo naman device without prior notice or authorization. Misuse of device, nagbenta ka, gumamit ka, bumili ka ng mga computer device at ito ay gagamitin mo to commit a cyber offense. Illegal interception naman, ito yung mayroong pag-uusap both parties and without the knowledge of the both parties, nire-record mo, pinakikinggan mo, nagkakanda ka ng surveillance sa usapan ng dalawa. When we say data interference, this is the intentional or reckless deterioration of the computer data. May kapatid yan. Sino? Si system interference. When we say system interference, that is the intentional or the reckless deterioration of the computer system. So pag sinabi nating data interference, ang nasira mo lang is yung files, the application, yung nasa loob ng computer. When we say system interference, ang nasira mo is the whole computer system, hindi na siya magamit. Thumbs up nga kung naiintindihan. Okay, next tayo. If it is proven that Lolita aided Dahlia in committing the crime of illegal access, what would be Lolita's penalty of imprisonment? Nasa Section 5 ito Sa Section 5 of the Republic Act 10175, nakalagay doon yung other cybercrime offense. At sa other cybercrime offense, may dalawang paragraph doon, the paragraph A and paragraph B. Sa paragraph A, doon mo makikita yung aiding or abetting. Sa paragraph B naman, doon mo makikita yung attempt in the commission of cybercrime. At ano ang sabi ng batas in the Republic Act 10175? Kapag ka ang na-commit mo are those paragraphs under the Section 5 or the other cybercrime offense, that is 1 degree lower doon sa may penalty kung nagawa mo na yun or ikaw mismo yung gumawa. So, 1 degree lower doon sa penalty ng nakagawa mismo. Okay? Ngayon, dito sa question, nakalagay, kung napatunayan na si Lolita ay tinulungan si Dahlia na mag-commit ng cybercrime na illegal access, ano ang penalty of imprisonment nung tumulong, which is si Lolita? As we all know, majority of the penalty of imprisonment in Section 4 of the Republic Act 10175 or the cybercrime offenses, paragraph A, paragraph B, and paragraph C, ang penalty of imprisonment niyan ay prison mayor. Almost is prison mayor. Kaisa-isa lang ang mayroong penalty of arresto mayor. And that is the UCC or the unsolicited commercial communication. Okay? So ngayon, malinaw na si Dahlia ay nakakommit ng illegal access. So meaning, ang penalty of imprisonment ni Dahlia ay prison mayor. So si Lolita, dahil tinulungan lang naman niya si Dahlia, ang penalty of imprisonment ni Lolita ay 1 degree. So ano ba ang mas mababa sa prison mayor? Ang mas mababa sa prison mayor ay prison correctional. Prison mayor para kay Dahlia na nag-commit, the principal author of the crime, at yung tumulong, si Lolita, will be now prison correctional. Naintindihan ba? Thumbs up nga kung na-gets. Ayun. At tandaan nyo na, sa Section 4, cybercrime offense, pag na-commit mo yon, almost prison mayor, lahat ng penalty of imprisonment. isa lang ang arresto mayor, and that is the unsolicited commercial communication. Ang sinabi sa Section 5, other cybercrime offense, yung aiding or abetting, ibig sabihin, tumulong ka o kaya inudyukan mo yung tao mag-commit ng cybercrime offense. Pangalawang paragraph ng Section 5, nakalagay doon, is attempt in the commission of cybercrime offense, meaning, sinubukan mong gawin pero hindi mo na execute, hindi mo nagawa. So that is considered as 1 degree lower. Okay? Sa Section 6 naman ng Republic Act 10175, nakalagay doon, lahat ng crime under the Revised Penal Code and Special Penal Law na po pwedeng makomit through online or through the use of computer device, nakalagay doon na ang penalty of imprisonment ng mga nandun sa RPC at Special Penal Law ay magiging 1 degree higher naman. Just like, for example, the Child Pornography Act. So, Child Pornography Act, kapag napatunayan na ikaw ay nagtatago ng mga litrato ng mga batang nakahubot-hubad sa iyong kwarto, nakadikit sa dingding, o kaya nakatago sa may wallet mo, that is in violation of Child Pornography Act. So, the penalty of imprisonment is reclusion temporal. Okay? So, sa reclusion temporal, that is 12 years and 1 day to 20 years. Ngayon, kapag yung Child Pornography Act ay nakomit mo through the use of computer system, meaning nagtatago ka ng mga litrato ng mga bata, minor de edad na nakahubot-hubad sa iyong cellphone, sa gallery ng cellphone mo, sa photos mo, or sa laptop mo, or nakatago yon sa isang flash drive or hard drive. So that is now in relation to Child Pornography Act in relation to Republic Act 10175. So because of that, as per the Section 6 of the RA 10175, magiging 1 degree higher siya ngayon. So kung nakomit mo siya through the use of computer device, magiging reclusion perpetua na. So I hope that makes sense and clear, ha? Baka kasi mamaya malito kayo doon sa may period of imprisonment. Next. Which component of computer hardware is analogous to the mental capacity of human performing fundamental operations like processing data, running application, and managing system tasks? Mental capacity. Palitan natin, the brain of computer. Anong tawag natin doon? The mental capacity, analogous to the mental capacity of the human, the brain of the computer, ang tawag natin dyan ay CPU or the Central Processing Unit. Sa definition ng computer, paano natin masasabi na ang isang bagay ay computer? Tatlo lang ang category or ang requirements. Matatawag natin ang isang bagay as computer kung, number 1, ang isang bagay ay kaya niyang magproseso ng data. Number 2, the device can store data. Number 3, the device can compute data. So matatawag natin computer ang isang bagay kung siya ay nag-i-store ng data. O pwede mong lagyan ng data, o pwede kang magproseso ng data, o pwede kang mag-compute ng data. So accordingly, doon sa may RA 10175, I don't know, in 10175 or doon sa may e-commerce act, calculator is considered as a computer device. Okay? Pero hindi nila ini-specify doon kung basic calculator ba o yung scientific calculator. Kasi ang scientific calculator, I think merong mga history yun, di ba? Yung mga kinumpute mo nung kahapon, o pwede mo siyang balikan, or yung previously computed numbers. So, dun sa three requirements para matawag na computer, papasok to si scientific calculator. Next. What are the tangible component or parts of computer system that can be physically touched and manipulated? So, sa parts ng computer, we have two types of parts of computer. We have these tangible and intangible parts. Nahawakan, hindi nahawakan. Okay? So, what are the tangible components or parts of computer system that can be physically touched and manipulated. O pwede mo bang hawakan ang Facebook? O pwede mo bang hawakan ang files? O pwede mo bang hawakan ang hardware? Ang hard drive pwede mong hawakan, pero yung hardware nun, actually hardware, actually dalawa nga yung possible answer dito eh. Kasi pag sinabi nating hardware, motherboard is a hardware. Facebook files is a software. So, pwede siya pumasok doon. So, the intangible parts or the intangible applications are Facebook, files, yan. But motherboard is an example of hardware. So, hindi ko lang alala kung ano yung sagot dito, pero ang sagot dito is hardware. Kasi, ang tawag dyan, sa motherboard hardware. So, ang tanong is generic, tangible components or parts. Hindi naman, kung ang tanong dyan, tapos kung wala yung hardware, tapos sa question, the following are intangible parts of computer except one. So, pwede natin isagot yung motherboard kung wala si hardware. Pero kung i-analyze at iintindihin mo yung question, ang sabi kasi, what are the tangible components or parts? Plural eh. Diba? So, hindi mo pwedeng isagot yung motherboard compare kay hardware. Kasi si motherboard ay isa lamang sa mga tangible component ng computer. Pero pag tinawag kasi nating hardware, maraming hardware. O pwedeng mouse, keyboard, speaker, monitor, CPU, RAM, SDD, video card, yan, motherboard. Those are an example of hardware. So since dun sa may question is generic at marami yung tinutukoy, tangible components or parts of computer system, the best answer here will be hardware. Do you agree with me? Paki-thumbs up nga kung nag-agree. Thumbs up, please. Okay. Next. Sagot. What is the practice of safeguarding computer system, networks, and digital information from unauthorized access, attacks, damage, or theft? Ano daw yung ginagawa mo to safeguard your computer system, networks, and digital information para hindi makapasok? Parang sa bahay lang yan. Bakit mo ba nilalak yung gate ninyo bago ka matulog para hindi pasukin? Diba? Bakit ka naglalak ng pinto? Diba? Kapag ka gumagamit ka ng CR, pag dumejebs ka, pag naliligo ka, diba? Para hindi makapasok yung mga papasok. Diba? Para secured ka nang nandun, secured ka na gumagamit ng comfort room. Diba? So, papasok na yan sa security. Diba? So, ang term na ginagamit natin dyan is cyber security. Okay? Hindi lang natapat yung araw, pero cyber security yan. Yung paglalagay mo ng fingerprint lock, face recognition, paglalagay mo ng password, PIN code, no? Sabi ko nga sa inyo, palitan nyo na yung mga cyber security ninyo sa mga device ninyo. Bakit? Ang pinaka-safe na cyber security pagdating sa phone, sa mga devices ninyo ay hindi fingerprint identification. Fingerprint identification, yan yung pinaka-loose. Yan yung pinaka-madaling ma-breach by. Okay? Ang fingerprint identification sa cellphone, kahit natutulog ka po, pwedeng ma-access yung cellphone mo. Halimbawa, mahimbing ang tulog mo, malalim tulog mo. Diba? Nasa bus ka, nasa mall ka, nakatulog ka. Nagko-commute ka, nakatulog ka. May kasama ka sa bahay, may kasama kang kaklase mo sa boarding house, nakatulog ka. Nagcha-charge ka ng cellphone, kukunin niya yung cellphone mo, ididikit lang yung kanyang daliri doon sa device, ma-open na. Di ba? So, kung tulog ka, hindi naman pumipikit ang fingerprint mo. Hindi naman nagbabago ang itsura ng fingerprint. Siya pa rin yun. So, kahit natutulog ka, pwedeng mabuksan yun. Even in face recognition, kahit natutulog ka, may mga face recognition sa mga cellphones na nakaka-capture pa rin kahit nakapikit. Pero, pag PIN code or password, combination of letters, alphanumerics, combination of letters and numbers, Hindi kayang basahin ng tao kung ano yung nasa isip mo, kung ano yung alam mong password ng cellphone mo. So the safest is the use of PIN or password pagdating sa lock ng cellphone. Ang hindi pinaka-safe na practice natin is the use of fingerprint lock. Okay? So, pero mas convenient kasi ang fingerprint kasi one tap lang, okay na. Yun naman ang kinagandahan sa fingerprint. Okay? Kaya pagka halimbawa, nahablutan ka ng cellphone, okay lang yun kung cellphone ang mahablot, kung naka-fingerprint lock ka. Pero ang sama nun, nahablutan ka na ng cellphone, nahablot pa yung daliri mo, pinutol yung daliri mo, mabubuksan yung cellphone mo. Di ba? So, pero yung PIN code or password, nasa isip mo yun. Hindi nila kayang kuhanin. Okay? Next. What law enforcement agency is responsible for the efficient and effective law enforcement of the provision of Republic Act 10175? Dalawang ahensya lang ang inutusan ng Republic Act 10175 to enforce the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. That is the PNP and then the NBI. Okay? Ngayon, ang sabi ng Republic Act 10175, according to Section 10, the law enforcement authorities to enforce the 10175, kailangan magkaroon ng specialized unit ang PNP at NBI para mag-handle ng mga cybercrime cases. So balikan natin yung tanong, what law enforcement agency is responsible for the efficient and effective law enforcement of the provision of Republic Act 10175? Department of Justice is not a law enforcement agency, so tanggalin na natin yon. Office of the Cybercrime, of course, is also not a law enforcement agency. So between PNP, CIDG, and NBI, ano ang isasagot natin? So the best answer here is no other than the NBI. Kasi ang CIDG is not the specialized unit of the PNP to enforce 10175. The specialized unit of the PNP to enforce 10175 is the PNP ACG or the PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group. In NBI or the National Bureau of Investigation, the specialized division is the Cybercrime Division. Okay? So, mali yung letter B. Yes, nandun yung PNP, pero CIDG kasi yung nakalagay. Ang specialized unit ng PNP ay ACG or the Anti-Cybercrime Group. Thumbs up nga kung naintindihan. Okay, next tayo. MICO committed what type of offense against the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of computer data and systems under 10175 when MICO or when the former intentionally access Juliet's laptop without consent to see others' files? Kung titignan natin yung tanong, parang very mahaba siya, tapos yung kwento niya ay pasok sa application talaga. Pero kung titignan mo yung question, madali lang siya sagutin. Kasi si Miko inaccess yung laptop ni Juliet without consent. At papasok yon saan? Illegal access. Di ba? The number one paragraph or the number one subparagraph of paragraph A in section 4. So, ang illegal interception, sinabi na natin kanina yan. Cyber squatting naman, gumawa ka ng website na similarly, confusingly identical sa mga meron na ngayon. At yung cyber squatting ay po pwede nating mahalin tulad sa intellectual property code ng Pilipinas na kung saan, just like for example, gumawa ka ng social media application na ang pangalan ay Fishball. Tapos yung kanyang icon ay kamukhang-kamukha sa Facebook. That is what we call cyber squatting. Okay? System interference naman kung nasira mo yung computer, intentionally or recklessly. Next. What offense did Mike commit by posting malicious or defamatory content towards Fox publicly on Instagram using Oscar's name and image? Ang daming ginawa ni Mike. Si Mike ay nag-post ng malisyoso at mapanirang content patungkol kay Fox. At nung ginawa ni Mike, yung pagpo-post na yon, ginamit niya yung pangalan at picture ni Oscar. Ang tanong, ano ang offense na na-commit ni Mike? Identity theft, cyber libel, oral defamation, or both identity theft and cyber libel? Tingnan niyo yung question publicly. Okay? So, papasok sa cyber libel. Tingnan natin yung sagot. The answer is both A and B. That will be identity theft and cyber libel. Why? Identity theft, kasi ginamit niya yung pangalan at litrato ni Oscar. Cyber libel, kasi publicly on Instagram, nag-post ng malisyoso at nakakapamahiyang content patungkol kay Pax. Okay? Next question. Sagot. Is A, as a co-principal, liable for cyber libel because he instantly replied and agreed to B's publicly shared malicious and slanderous posts about CC on Facebook? Buti ba iba na sagot? Papasimplihin natin yung senaryo Si B ay nag-share ng malicious and slanderous post towards C sa Facebook. Okay? Ngayon, si A ay nag-reply or nag-komento at nag-agree dun sa shared post ni B. Ang tanong, is A can be considered A as a co-principal for the crime of cyber libel? Co-principal, co-author of the crime of cyber libel. The answer is yes, no, yes, no. Anong sagot natin? No, A is liable accomplice only. Pakipindot nga yung reaction, tingnan natin. Majority of the answer is letter D, no. Check natin na ang sagot ay letter D. Hindi po pwedeng maging co-principal si A. Why? Kasi nag-reply lang siya and nag-agree. As per the Supreme Court ruling, if ang tao ay nag-agree, nag-react, nag-agree, nagkomento na siya ay nag-a-agree sa isang libelous post, kahit 1,000 pa yung taong nagsumang-ayon dun sa may nag-post, hindi sila makakasuhan as co-principal or as co-author of the crime of cyber libel. Okay? So, ang meron lang doon na liability ay si letter B. No, A is liable as accomplice only, hindi po pwede. Yes, A is liable for cybercrime, hindi rin. So, the correct answer is no. Pero, halimbawa, ang sabi ni BKC sa Facebook, si letter C, minention pa niya, halimbawa, si letter C ay magnanakaw. Tapos ang sabi ni letter A sa comment section, tama ka dyan B, magnanakaw talaga si letter C. Wala yun. Hindi liable si A. Kahit inulit pa niya yung sinabi ni B kasi that is a mere agreement. Okay? Pero kung ang kinoment ni A ay, tama ka dyan B, magnanakaw talaga si C. Kabit pa nga yan eh. Kung dinagdagan niya ng word na kabit pa nga yan eh, A will not be considered pa rin as co-principal for the cyber libel. But A will now be a separate author of the crime cyber libel. So kahit nasa comment section yung post ni A na sinabihan niya na meron siyang dagdag na kabit pa nga yan eh. Okay? Kahit nasa comment section lang yon at hindi sa original post, ang batas nakatingin doon as a separate cyber libel case. So si letter B at si letter A ay hindi mag-et al. Hindi sila et al sa isang kaso. So separate crime of cyber libel to B dahil sinabihan niya si letter C na magnanakaw at separate crime of cyber libel for A kasi sinabihan ni A si C ng kabit. Okay? Naintindihan ba? Thumbs up nga kung naintindihan yung ruling natin doon. Okay. Next, and for the last question, so majority of the answer is letter D. Tingnan natin ha. Police Master Sergeant Dindo need to request subscribers' information from the service provider in response to the smishing incident in order to determine who is circulating deceptive information in Laguna. What sort of warrant is required for him to make a request for information from the service provider? So meron naman tayong 4 na cybercrime warrant. Letter A, warrant to examine computer data. Hindi, kasi wala naman siyang i-examine na computer device. Ang gusto lang niya makuha is an information from the service provider. Letter B, warrant to search, seize, and examine computer data. Hindi rin, kasi wala naman din siyang hahanaping computer device. Ang hinahanap niya ay data or information. Letter C, warrant to examine computer data. Same with letter B, wala naman siyang isasalang sa forensic examination. The correct answer here is letter D, warrant to disclose computer data. Okay? So, those are the 4 warrants na nilabas ng Supreme Court. Okay? Tandaan nyo wala kayong makikitang cybercrime warrant sa Republic Act 10175. Hindi doon nakalagay ang 4 na cybercrime warrant. Yung 4 cybercrime warrant ay nakalagay sa Rules on Cybercrime Warrant na inilabas ng Supreme Court of the Philippines. Okay? In line with the Republic Act 10175. Okay? So, thumbs up nga kung mayroong natutunan. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay. So, later afternoon, mag-start standby na kayo ng 12:50. So, mag-share ulit ng link before 1 p.m. Okay, so mamaya is FCII, SCI 1, SCI 2, and then yung drugs. And tingnan natin kung may sisingit pa yung Tech 1 and 2. No? But among the courses under the subject CDI, si Tech 1 and 2 naman yung list priority natin. Okay? Since sa technical report,